Hello everyone, Jay Whitner here with our internet TV show Crowdfunding Coverage. We do a quick recap of what happens in the crowdfunding universe each month, and our show is brought to you by Kickstarter Coaching and the Space Finance Group. In September, we had 6 major campaigns got funded in September that all brought in at least $1 million. These big campaigns brought in a total of almost $11 million in September. And the largest campaign was Reaper Miniatures Bones that brought in a little over $3 million, and we'll talk about that later in our show. First, we have a little bit of news. IndieGo is taking action against creators that don't follow through on their projects, that don't communicate well enough. And apparently, if a project is late enough and the creators are not communicating with the backers or not responding, IndieGo may take various steps against those creators to effectively force them to communicate with the backers and let them know what's going on. So I think that's a great idea and compliments to IndieGo. Kickstarter had previously announced that they were going to open up Japan in September, and that happened in the middle of the month. So in the past, certainly Japanese citizens were able to contribute to Kickstarter campaigns, but now the campaigns themselves can be launched by Japanese citizens and get funds internationally through the Kickstarter platform. So this would seem to be a good idea and a big market for Kickstarter moving forward. So congratulations to them. A group of companies got together to try to solve, or at least mitigate the problems with hardware projects in the crowdfunding space. There are more moving parts, more complexities in a project that has high-tech hardware. So Avnet, Dragon Innovation, and Kickstarter are teaming up together to have Hardware Studio, which will provide training and support for these sorts of projects, which is obviously a very, very good idea. So we're going to look at 6 big campaigns this month. The size range of the campaigns is anywhere from 1.2 million to 3.1 million. So they're all obviously very large campaigns. The length of the videos in the campaigns varied quite a bit, from under a minute to slightly over 4 minutes in length. The campaigns range from 30 days up to 58 days. We've been gradually seeing this increase. The earlier wisdom was around 30 days. That seems to be expanding a little bit to maybe 35 days being an ideal kind of a term in most cases. In terms of rewards, there was quite a wide range from 8 rewards up to 27. And in updates, we had from a fairly skimpy 3 updates to 79, which seems really hard to see the rationale that you'd have to put forth 79 updates. So the first campaign is Algo bricks. The idea here is a game that teaches kids about coding, which is obviously one of the major skill sets of our future. So this is aimed at kids that are quite young, 5 to 13 years of age. The campaign brought in about $1.2 million. And some of the things that they did in their campaign were they had supplemental videos. It's important that your main video not be too long. I know that I hammer on this on basically every show, but it's critical. People will stop watching if it's too long. So if you have additional information, put forth supplemental videos. You can. No reason not to. They also had a press kit. This is a good idea. The press has certain resources that they really need to do their job that the average backer doesn't need. So basically they put a link or a button to where that information that the press needs is segregated and available to the press, and it doesn't clutter up the rest of the campaign. They also did something that we've seen a little bit of recently, a table of contents. If you have a big, complicated Kickstarter page, which maybe is not a good idea to begin with, but if you do, maybe you want to have a table of contents to explain where people can find the information that they're looking for. The next campaign is Table of Ultimate Gaming, the Ultimate Game Table. So gaming is really, really big, and some of the games take a lot of space, and maybe you don't want to use your dining room table for this sort of thing. So these are customized tables for gaming fanatics. So this campaign raised obviously a lot of money, and they did some things that I think are broader than just their particular product. They offered their product in a variety of sizes and colors and price points. So give your buyer a choice if you possibly can. This expands the potential buying universe. They had an explicit link in the main body of their campaign page to their website. People are going to go look at your Kickstarter page long after your campaign is concluded. They'll find it in search results when they're looking around at Kickstarter and various other things. So you want to make it very obvious where to get in touch with you. And you don't want them to have to look around too hard to find it. So to have a visible link to your website is a very good idea. These people had optional add-ons to your table. This is a good idea so that your core product is what some people call the minimum viable product to keep your price under control. That way you have add-ons that individual buyers can purchase if they want, but the base price is not going up and up and up as that happens. Next we have Gubbio. We're seeing a lot of 3D printers and cutters and different things on Kickstarter. This is a laser engraver. It's very small, friendly desktop version with a laser that's I guess you might say it's relatively low powered, and that's maybe a good thing that it's not a dangerous device so much. So this campaign, they did some things that we see. They are using the GIFs. These are the mini videos without any sound that allow you to depict things in motion without the viewer having to choose to click on one of those symbols for a true video. These things are just constantly running. They also successfully use stretch goals. If you're new to Kickstarter and crowdfunding, the Kickstarter platform, it's all or nothing. If you don't get to your minimum, you get nothing. So you want the minimum to be as low as possible. Stretch goals are a mechanism to keep the pool expanding after your minimum has been reached. Basically what this looks like is, okay, if we raise X dollars, we'll add these features, this sort of thing. It's a good idea to keep the campaign rolling. These people also use the prototype gallery to be able to show the steps involved in the development of their product. I have mixed opinions about this. It does give insight into what you did, but it's arguably stuff that the buyer does not need to know. So consider that carefully, whether or not you want to use the prototype gallery. The next campaign is HighTech Heels and Flats that feel like sneakers inside. This is a perpetual thing that you hear from the ladies, that the high heels are uncomfortable, but they like them. The guys like the way they look wearing them, so high heels are probably here to stay. The idea of this campaign is to make these shoes better made, more comfortable, more durable, better shoes. Some of the things they did in their campaign is they had early bird pricing. This is substantial discounts for people that buy in early into the campaign, that they get a price break to establish some momentum. Another thing they did is the back project button. If you're a Kickstarter regular, you know exactly what you need to do if you want to back a project. If you're brand new, you might be like looking around and not be certain what you want to do if you want to support the project. So the back project button is a clearly labeled button right there in the middle of the main page that you click on to go into the buying process. So they did that, I guess, thinking that they were going to have buyers that were not Kickstarter experienced. Another thing that they were doing was custom fitting for the shoes. In the current environment with 3D printing and other new technologies, it's more and more feasible to custom make the product for the customer. And in a situation like this, where the good fit for the shoes is part of the comfort and part of the problem, this helps to address that. So they used a good combination of things to raise, I think it was almost $2 million. And a good example of they found a problem that they felt like they could offer a solution for, that a lot of people have. If you want to have a big project, find a situation like that, a problem that affects a lot of people, and you have an answer. The next campaign is called Unstable Unicorns. This is a game, it's a card game about building a unicorn army, if I understand correctly. These people, believe it or not, raised a huge amount of money with this idea of unstable unicorns. They raised almost $2 million for this game. So I'm going to talk about some of the strategies that they used, but it's still kind of hard to fathom how this resulted in $2 million. But they use supplemental videos to explain the game. Some of the game things have video of actual gameplay, so you can understand sort of the game experience. So they use supplemental videos. They also had a lot of stretch goals that they would add various features as the campaign size grew and grew and grew. Obviously, with raising almost $2 million, it grew a lot, so they went through a lot of stretch goals. And they offered these add-ons that I mentioned before. This sort of separates options from the core price point, just like options if you're buying a new car, that you're not forced to have them exactly. It's up to you if you want to get them, and that impacts your total price. The big winner for the month of September was Reaper Miniatures Bones 4. This company has done several different campaigns. I think actually they've done more than 4, but these are miniatures for gaming purposes that they manufacture. So this was a really big campaign. It brought in over $3 million. So some of the things that they did is they had add-ons. So again, optional purchases in addition to the core that you can buy if you want through the platform. They used a pledge calculator. This is something that some of the campaigns certainly use, especially if they're projecting a variety of sizes of packages going to lots of different countries. So this helps you figure out the costs of the different add-ons, the cost of the shipping, depending on what you're getting, and so that you provide the correct amount of money into the campaign. And they had a lot of stretch goals. They certainly met these stretch goals with $3 million of campaign success. So congratulations to those folks on a fantastic campaign. And that takes us through the entire month of September. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed our show, and we'll see you later on. Take care.